I'll talk a little bit about Macbeth Act 1. In the opening act of Macbeth, the spectator is giving a glance at three weird sisters who are witches. These wicked women are having a conversation containing a lot of ambiguity. Then a captain returns from the long-lasting war to inform the king, Duncan, about Macbeth and Banquo's achievement in battle. Macbeth is then acknowledged by becoming Thane of Cawdor due to the disloyalty shown by the former Thane, but Macbeth doesn't know this yet. Macbeth and Banquo then run across the three sisters, and they hint that Macbeth is going to become Thane of Cawdor and later king. As soon as the witches disappear, the two other Thanes appear and explains to Macbeth that he is now the Thane of Cawdor. This immediately affects Macbeth's mindset, and he strongly considers committing a judicial murder on the current king so that he himself can acquire the rule. In the next scene, King Duncan demands to be assured that the Thane of Cawdor has been beheaded. Then Macbeth enters the room and the king shows his appreciation of Macbeth's actions, but he also mentions that it's going to be his own son, Malcolm, who is going to inherit the role as king. Duncan then states his wish to visit Macbeth, and Macbeth travels home to make his house presentable. At home, Lady Macbeth reads a letter about Macbeth's conversation with the witches and the prophecy about him becoming the king. She's worried because she is under the impression that he doesn't have the coolness to commit the murder on the King Duncan. So when she is informed that the king is coming to her own house, she explains to Macbeth that she will make all the preparations to execute the murder. Duncan then arrives and exchanges kind words with Lady Macbeth and questions Macbeth's whereabouts. She states that she can lead him to where Macbeth is waiting. At last Macbeth is wondering about the effects of murdering a king. He does not feel comfortable about murdering a person who loves and trusts him, such as the king. Macbeth regrets his plans of becoming king by doing something unlawful. When Lady Macbeth enters, Macbeth explains to her about his second thoughts, and she starts to harass him for his lack of courage. Lady Macbeth comes up with a specific plan on how to kill the king, by which Macbeth is impressed. Ultimately, Macbeth decides not to continue with the execution. Ambiguity plays a central role in Act 1 of Macbeth. In the opening scene, the three sisters say confusing words as when they say that they will meet Macbeth when fair is foul and foul is fair. These weird words add excitement to the play and requires the audience to pay attention. If one is reading the play, one might have to read it multiple times to catch the meaning. It also confuses Macbeth in the actual play, and they're playing games with his mind. It's also unclear if the witches can really predict the future, or if they're just influencing Macbeth to do different sorts of things. Banquo is afraid, for example, that the words of the witches will awaken an idea already hiding in Macbeth's subconsciousness. This fear is not surprising, and the prediction from the witches does affect Macbeth to thinking of committing a murder. This ambiguity and the mind games appearing in Act 1 might also play a role throughout the entire play.